around 55-60. So I thought, why to take a chance, take him to hospital, treat him. So we have done three types of climate, three types of this thing in this. That is A, B and C. Clear? कहाँ तक किया था मैंने? C, C A, C B. C B तक. तुम्हें कितने बजे मैसेज मिला? 9:30 को. As usual, people first came to hit me, but that gentleman said that it is not my mistake, it's his mistake. Only he came directly from a blind turn at a very high speed. There is a road like this, turning. So I was coming and यहाँ पे एक cut है, which you cannot see. Obviously slow आना चाहिए यहाँ से. He directly came this way. So there was a dash. मेरे को कुछ नहीं होगा because the only reason I took Tata का गाड़ी is for that only. I know my driving confidence. I will hit through 2-3 people. I know that. So I took, that's why Tata. Otherwise Maruti ले लेता. So we have done with the CB. CB type of climate is what is known as temperate microthermal. It is located on the western side of the continent, and this is similar to the type of climate that is found in Britain. The next type of climate as per Trewartha is D. And D is microthermal climate or temperate climate. Or the temperate climate. Now what is Trewartha says about this type of climate? He says that in this type of climate there are two different types of winds. During the summers this comes under the influence of westerlies, and during the winters this comes under the influence of easterlies, but these easterlies are the polar winds. So the first statement here is it is a cold climate. It is a cold climate because polar winds dominate during the winter season. Because the polar winds dominate during the winter season. Polar winds dominate during the winter season. Summers are warm. Summers are warm. Due to influence of westerlies. Due to the influence of westerlies. Summers are warm due to the influence of westerlies. The poleward and the poleward and the equatorward boundaries are determined by 10 degrees Celsius isotherm. Are determined by 10 degrees Celsius isotherm. (10°C isotherm. He is saying कि boundary of this climate, whether it is the poleward का boundary is 10 degree Celsius during the summers and winters में 10 degree Celsius during the winters. Understanding? इसलिए एक है. इसका मतलब ये है that if this is a D type of a climate, during the summer season, this region is having 10 degrees Celsius, northern boundary. During the winters, this region is having the temperature of 10 degrees Celsius. So, all this climate which is located between the 10 degrees Celsius का isotherm is what is known as a D type of climate. Summers में it becomes hot, and therefore polar regions में temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. यहाँ पे temperature is 22-23 degrees Celsius. So ये poleward boundary है. Winters में it becomes cold but does not become 0 degrees Celsius. So equator में summers winters में 10 degrees Celsius is the boundary here. Understood this statement? Fine. Next point. It is further divided into DA. Continental, humid climate with temperature of the warmest month, about 10 degree Celsius. Sorry, about 25 degree Celsius. Temperature of the warmest month about 25 degree Celsius. DB climate, where temperature of the warmest month, is below 22 degrees Celsius. पहले इसमें about 25 is below 22 degree Celsius. DC climate, D and small c, DC climate, D and small c. It is subpolar climate. It is the subpolar climate. Having very short summer season. And DD climate. This is cold climate. This is a cold climate with the coldest month below minus 38 degrees Celsius. Minus 38 degree Celsius. Minus 38 degree Celsius. इंडिया में है कोई ऐसा क्लाइमेट where the temperature falls below minus 38 degree Celsius? Where? सियाचिन में कोई रहता नहीं है. That is a glacier. It is very obvious. जहाँ लोग रहते हैं. Kargil, Dras region. What is the climate in your place? Yes, summers 30 and winters 5 degrees Celsius. Yeah, humidity is there. So D microthermal climate, बस इस देखो keywords ध्यान रखो. Summers more than 25 degrees Celsius, summers less than 25 degrees Celsius. वैसे exact is 22, but even if you write 25, it is not wrong. Subpolar regions and extremely cold regions, continental regions. These all are continental regions. E type of climate. E type of climate is boreal or taiga type of climate. Is boreal or taiga type of climate. It is found only in the northern hemisphere. It is found only in the northern hemisphere. Found only in the northern hemisphere. Can someone tell me why taiga is found only in the northern hemisphere? Taiga के लिए there has to be extreme climate, मतलब continental interiors में summers have to be very very cool and the winters have to be very very summers have to be very warm and the winters have to be very cold, understanding? And वो होगा only when there is a wide land mass and in the southern hemisphere there is no land mass. Fine. So एक चीज GS के लिए भी याद रखना, which climate is found only in the northern hemisphere? It is taiga. Clear? Next. It is having cool. It is having cool. But very short summer season. It is having cool, short summer season. Comma. Long and very cold winter season. Long and very cold winter season. Next, average temperature of the summer months. Average temperature of summer months is around 10 degrees Celsius. Is around 10 degrees Celsius. Is around 10 degrees Celsius. Can I continue? And the last is polar or F type of climate. Summer season is totally absent. Summer season is totally absent. Such climate is also found only in northern hemisphere. Such climate is also found only in the northern hemisphere. On the basis of temperature variations, on the basis of temperature variations, it is divided into FT, that is tundra. F is permanent ice caps. FT tundra small. सिर्फ मेजर क्लाइमेट्स ही कैपिटल में आएंगे, A B C D E N F, बाकी सब लेटर स्मॉल में रहेंगे. It is divided into FT and FF. आइस कैप, टुंड्रा नहीं होगा, सिर्फ आइस कैप. अंटार्कटिका में आइस कैप है, टुंड्रा टाइप ऑफ क्लाइमेट नहीं है, मतलब पेरीग्लेशियल नहीं है, ग्लेशियल है. फाइन. सो दैट इज द एंड ऑफ कोपेन स्कीम. सो त्रिवार्था स्कीम क्या है? A B C D E F. फाइन. दिस आर द टाइप्स ऑफ द क्लाइमेट्स. टेल मी उसका क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस. सबसे पहले पॉइंट, हाउ इज इट सिमिलर टू कोपेन. सेकेंड, हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम कोपेन. एंड देन व्हाट आर उसका क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस. How is it similar to Köppen? कुछ नहीं है, it is simplification of the Köppen scheme, कम words के साथ. How it is different from Köppen? Second point, it is similar to Köppen scheme, मतलब इसमें सब कुछ आ जाएगा. He will take vegetation as the major indicator. He will not do any kind of a complex calculation. He will give just a general descriptive background of the climate. त्रिवार्था का कहना है, geographer's job is to describe, not find out the causes. To find out the causes is the job of scientist. To describe the surface of the earth is the job of geographer. So इसलिए वो Thorndike जैसा calculations नहीं करेगा. Getting it? So that is the major first point of the Köppen. त्रिवार्था, he is much similar to Köppen and उसमें सब कुछ आ जाएगा. But he is different from Köppen in the terms, and Köppen as well as Thorndike, in the terms that this climatic classification is a mixture of both empirical and genetic classification. Means he will talk even about the origin of climate. कैसे हमने कुछ लिखा नहीं, हम लिख रहे आंसर. We are not writing the Trivartha's classification of 260 words. Actual classification is of 260 pages. हम लिख रहे हैं उसको 200 वर्ड्स में. गेटिंग इट? सो उसमें ही टॉक्स अबाउट जेनेसिस कि क्यों है वो क्लाइमेट, कैसे है वो क्लाइमेट. दैट इज वाई इन वन पॉइंट आई हैव मेड यू राइट विंड्स, कि कौन सी विंड्स आएगी, कौन सी नहीं आएगी. गेटिंग इट? इट इज नॉट जस्ट एम्पेरिकल, इट इज बोथ जेनेटिक एज वेल एज एम्पेरिकल. एंड थर्ड पॉइंट जो डिफरेंस का है इज दैट ही टेक्स डिफरेंट आइसोथर्म्स. इसके लिए द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट आइसोथर्म इज 10 डिग्री सेल्सियस. कोपेन के लिए द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट आइसोथर्म वाज 18 डिग्री सेल्सियस का आइसोथर्म. दैट इज द ओनली मेजर डिफरेंस बिटवीन त्रिवार्था एंड कोपेन. एंड ऑब्वियसली द त्रिवार्था का क्लासिफिकेशन इज टोटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम थॉर्नवाइट का क्लासिफिकेशन. हाउ विल यू रिमेंबर थॉर्नवाइट का क्लासिफिकेशन? 31 का क्लासिफिकेशन P बाई इंडेक्स, T बाई इंडेक्स. फाइन. एंड 48 का क्लासिफिकेशन पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन PE, then moisture index, then aridity and humidity index, and then temperature efficiency index, and the final will come on the basis of 4. Getting it? So critical analysis of Trivartha, and exam में generally आता है critical analysis of Trivartha. First, his classification is not dramatically different or drastically different. His classification is not drastically different than Köppen, full stop. His aim was to redefine, simplify. His aim was to redefine, simplify the Köppen's classification, and maintain the validity of Köppen. maintain the validity of Köppen. Maintain the validity of Köppen. And therefore it is said, trewartha, ये अंडरलाइन करना पूरा स्टेटमेंट, trewartha is an advocate of Köppen. Trewartha is an advocate of Köppen. Trewartha is an advocate of Köppen. So अगर ये क्वेश्चन आता है Trewartha is an advocate of Köppen, you have to present how his classification is similar to Köppen's classification. Means you will write in very short what are the Köppen's classification, फिर आप बताओगे what is the Trewartha's classification, and then you will compare the similarities. Fine. Next point. He supported the generalist approach of Köppen. He supported the generalist approach of Köppen because he believed that the objective of geographer is to describe, underline the word describe, regional differences, to describe the regional differences. We'll call this school as to describe the regional differences and not to give the detailed, just a minute, hello, not to give the details such as calculations, its complex descriptions, which is full of statistics, Okay, कहता था this is not a work of geographer, this is a work of scientists, statistics, etc. Should I repeat? The statistical approach and mathematical approach is a work of scientist or meteorologist. Next point. Similar to Köppen, he argued that vegetation is the basis of climatic boundary. Climatic boundaries. Vegetation is the basis of climatic boundaries. boundaries, climatic boundaries, B and C. Getting it? But there are certain differences. There are certain differences. Go and see the Köppen का classification का D type of climate. Turn your pages back. D type of climate में कितने types है? But there are certain differences. D, Köppen में. Köppen में. 2, what are they? DW on the basis of W and F. मतलब किसके basis पे है? Dry winters and rainfall means, and come to the trewartha का D type of climate. कितने types है? DA, DB, DC, DD. 4 types है. This is on the basis of rainfall or on the basis of temperature? Temperature. That is the first difference. Getting it? But there are certain differences. The first difference. Köppen divides the D type of climate. Köppen divides the D type of climate on the basis of temperature. On the basis of temperature. Into DW, sorry, on the basis of precipitation into DW and DF. Köppen divides the D type of climate on the basis of precipitation into DW and DF. But trewartha divides it on the basis of temperature. On the basis of temperature into DA, B, C and D. Into DA, B, C and D. Second, for the boundary between B, H and B, K type of climates, hot and cold, fine. For the boundary between B, H and K type of climate, Köppen's basis is 18 degrees Celsius isotherm, while trewartha's basic or trewartha's basis is 10 degrees Celsius isotherm. Degrees Celsius isotherm. Is the 10 degrees Celsius isotherm. You can draw this diagram. अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस डायग्राम? एक का BH एंड B के लोअर लैटिट्यूड्स में है बिकॉज ही कंसिडर्स द मिनिमम टेम्परेचर ऑफ 18 डिग्री सेल्सियस. एक का हायर लैटिट्यूड्स में है बिकॉज ही कंसिडर्स द मिनिमम टेम्परेचर ऑफ 10 डिग्री सेल्सियस आइसोटोप. Next point. For the boundary between C and D type of climate, from the boundary between C and D type of climate, Köppen considered winter minus 3 degrees Celsius isotherm. Köppen considered winter minus 3 degrees Celsius isotherm, which was changed by trewartha to winter 0 degree Celsius isotherm. Changed by trewartha to winter 0 degree Celsius isotherm. Köppen के लिए it is minus 3 degree Celsius, which is the boundary during the winters during C and D. को त्रिवार्ता कहता है नहीं 0 degree Celsius. Next, how many climatic types in Köppen? A, B, C, D, E, F या E? 5. इसमें 6 F. So Köppen का E is त्रिवार्ता का F. That is the next difference. The E of Köppen, the E type of climate of Köppen has been renamed as F by trewartha, has been renamed by F as trewartha, with subdivisions as FF, FF and FT, FF and FT. Next, Köppen's classification is purely empirical. Köppen's classification is purely empirical. But the trewartha's classification is underline this entire statement, is a compromise between purely genetic, and empirical classification, purely genetic and empirical classification, full stop. This is because he gives importance to, what is this? Causal factors. He gives importance to causal factors such as winds, location, location, effect of altitude, effect of altitude, etc. Next, minor modifications, minor modifications. ये अभी तक जो हमने किया, these are the major differences, minor differences. First minor difference. Exam में लिखना major differences, minor differences, minor modification. The Mediterranean type of climate, the Mediterranean type of climate has been explained by Köppen, by Trewartha, is due to its location near the tropics in the mid latitudes. Location near the tropics in the middle latitudes. Second minor modification, Trewartha uses small r. Small r का मतलब क्या है? To depict rainfall throughout the year. While Köppen uses small f to depict rainfall throughout the year. Depict the rainfall throughout the year. Getting it? Next point. Conclusion. You take one more point जो लिखा है नहीं है before writing the conclusion. The D type of climate. As per Trewartha has a moderate. The D type of climate, as per Trewartha, has moderate weather. Due to influence of warm ocean currents. Due to the influence of warm ocean currents. Has moderate weather due to the influence of warm ocean currents. And draw this diagram quickly. Understanding why we call his classification even as genetic, क्योंकि उसने ओशन करंट्स और सबके बारे में भी बताया है. Can I continue? No. England is not a part. See, ऊपर वाला parts. The last point before we write the conclusion. Later on, Trewartha also added H type of climate. Later on, Trewartha also added H type of climate. To show the climatic conditions in the highlands or mountains. To show the climatic conditions in the highlands or mountains. In 1980 में when he last modified his climatic classification, he added the H type of climate. To show the climatic conditions of highlands or the mountainous regions. Vertical distribution. हाँ, थॉर्नवाइट में भी नहीं है. कोपेन ने फिर बाद में कोपेन ने भी ऐड किया था, बट त्रिवार्था ने ऐड करने के बाद, बट कोपेन के इसमें नहीं था. सो कोपेन ने एक्चुअली नहीं ऐड किया था, कोपेन के फॉलोअर्स ने ऐड कर दिया था उसमें. बट दैट्स व्हाई आई डिड नॉट मेक यू राइट. बट यहाँ पे सो हु इज मोर होलिस्टिक, त्रिवार्था, थॉर्नवाइट या कोपेन? Trewartha is perfectly right on the basis of climatic conditions, but casual factors Thornwhite ने भी नहीं बताए थे. Thornwhite is perfectly right कि exact boundary क्या होनी चाहिए वो Thornwhite है. कितना evaporation होगा, कितना precipitation होगा, Thornwhite है. But उसके लिए पहले समझना चाहिए कि वो क्या कर रहा है. Understanding? That should be easily understood. It is not understood only for the people. What is A, what is A dash, what is R dash, what is small a dash, इतने सारे climatic conditions कैसे याद रखोगे? I'll show you a climatic conditions that is of (128). Even Savindra Singh does not have that list. 128 climatic conditions of the Thornwhite. So it is the Trewartha who is the most popular, and he gives little bit importance to the casual factors also. See, he is not saying he is not right. वो कहता है right होने का काम है meteorologist का. We are geographers. We should only do aerial differentiation and regional synthesis. That is why aerial differentiation means the work of a geographer should be to describe the surface and to able to compare uska parts. Fine. You will understand it in today's lecture itself. Why it is the, what is the school of aerial differentiation, what is the school of regional synthesis, etc. So, conclusion. The trewartha is the most popular. Trewartha is most popular due to its simple understanding, due to its simplicity, due to its simplicity, due to its simplicity, comma, effects of locations, and maritime influences on the climate, full stop. Due to its simple and unambiguous nature, due to its simple and unambiguous nature, it is popular among geographers as well as students. It is popular among geographers as well as students. Popular among geographers as well as students. Fine. So that is the end of Köppen. Try to compare Köppen, trewartha. Sorry, that is the end of trewartha. Try to compare trewartha, Köppen and Thornwide. तीनों के differences क्या है, तीनों के similarities क्या है. See, question will be either on Thornwide का genetic and how he is different from Köppen, but the toughest question will be compare Köppen and trewartha. वहाँ पे छोटे-छोटे facts important होने चाहिए. R है, F है. Fine. What is the isotherm? कौन सा isotherm is important? Why it is only purely genetic? Why it is the purely genetic as well as empirical? Getting it? Whether he takes the Köppen does not take the influence of land, water, etc. He takes the importance of locations, map, etc. Clear? And we come to the last topic, that is unending topic of this. Give me a minute. do you understand by climate change? What is climate change? Change of climate. How? Increase or decrease? Due to natural, and that is the variability of the climate from time and space. That is both the spatially and the temporally variations in the climate is what is known as climate change. What are the causes for climate change? What are the causes for climate change? आपको लगता है इतना आसान टॉपिक होता तो ऑप्शनल में होता है, right? There are two reasons for climate change. One are natural and there are anthropogenic factors. The anthropogenic factors are changing the climate only from last 6,000 years, we can say. And we are not very sure whether this is occurring or not. But this is changing the climate from last billion years. It is this topic which is present in optional. And iska ek sub part is this. Obviously, I am not going to teach you this. This you can do on your own. It is this which is very, very important. That is, what are the natural causes for the climate change? Again, it is very, very easy. The natural causes for the climate changes, one you have done is continental drift. Does it cause climate change? Continental drift. Fine. Second is changes in insolation. Why there will be changes in the insolation? Changes in the insolation can be because of the change in the atmosphere, or it can be due to volcanic eruptions, or it can be due to change in the cycle of change in the tilt and change in the tilt, or how is the earth orbit, elliptical or circular? Sometimes you know that earth orbit can be circular also. Earth always does not go in the, why the earth orbit is elliptical sabse pehle? One of the reason is, yes, sunspots. So sabse pehle why earth ka orbit is elliptical, not circular? Earth ka orbit nahi hai tilted, earth is tilted over the axis. Elliptical means earth is going around the sun, not in the circular manner, it is going in the elliptical manner. Kabhi kabhi it tries to become circular, kabhi kabhi elliptical, kabhi kabhi circular, kabhi kabhi elliptical. Why is this so? See, we are just visitors for last 10,000 years, right? Earth is there for 4.2 billion years. So there will be changes in the earth orbit. The reason is very, very simple, gravitational pull of other planets. And because of this, circular thing is not maintained. Gravitational pull of other planets. Universe itself is circular and expanding due to gravitational pull. Yahi to ek negative point hai of the Einstein ka theory. Fine, his theory is true when the universe is constant. But later on he also acknowledged that the universe is expanding. Is universe expanding or not? Yes, universe is expanding. What are the recent findings in the plate tectonics? The recent findings in the plate tectonics is earth itself is now expanding. Earth is not contracting. As per the plate tectonics, jitna it is created, jitna crust is created, utna crust should be destroyed. But what is happening? More crust is getting destroyed. More crust is being created and less is getting destroyed. More crust is getting created, less is getting destroyed, फिर भी अर्थ का साइज कांस्टेंट है. इसका मतलब क्या है? अर्थ एक्सपांड हो रहा है. Getting it? So tilt keeps on changing. अर्थ का tilt है. How much is the tilt of the earth? 23.5. But earth का tilt varies from 21 degrees to 24 degrees. Varies from the last 6,000, 7,000 years, it is 23 and a half. But it does not mean that it is going to be 23 and a half only. It will keep on varying. And so either the tilt or the path changes. Understanding? और इसी को हम कहेंगे as a Serbian scientist known as Milankovic gave this, how the earth ka eccentricity and the tilt. Eccentricity is deviation from the circular path, keeps on changing. So this is optional, fine. Changes in the insolation due to the continental drift, changes in the atmosphere, Remember NCERT ka first chapter, that is there are 4 stages in the evolution of the atmosphere. So 3 stages. सबसे पहले था hydrogen and helium. The Earth's atmosphere was made up of only hydrogen and helium, and it was removed by the solar winds. Second stage में there was degassing, means too much of volcanic eruption, and therefore Earth ka atmosphere was rich in carbon dioxide, CH4 methane, hydrogen, nitrogen, but no oxygen. There was no oxygen, right? And third stage mein life originated. Then some part of the life developed photosynthesis, and uske baad came oxygen on Earth. So सबसे पहले life originated, they developed the ability of doing photosynthesis. Some plants, they started doing photosynthesis, carbon dioxide was decreased, and then came the oxygen on the Earth, and today it is dominated by the oxygen. Fine? So इसीलिए there are many scientists who says global warming is just कुछ नहीं हो रहा है global warming. It is just a false propaganda. It is just a normal cycle in the earth. अभी warm हो रहा है, आगे जाके cool होगा. But global warming is very good business. ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग कहते हैं. Fine? It is a very good business because it will allow the people not to just sell goods, it will also allow the people to sell air and to sell water in the name of climate change, global warming and pollution. बाकी ये सब प्रोपोगंडा है. अब वो कितना सच है कितना झूठ है, nobody knows. Understanding? But you can see दिल्ली का एयर इज अभी भी नॉर्मल लग रहा है मुझे. आई डोंट नो वेदर इट इज, बट कितने ज़्यादा बिजनेस है मास्क का, पोल्यूशन के मास्क का. दैट इज व्हाट इज मेंट बाय सेलिंग ऑफ एन एयर. कितना बड़ा बिजनेस है सेलिंग अप ऑफ मिनरल वाटर. That is what is known as selling of water. Then why will government worry about purifying the water and purifying the air when it is getting income from selling the air and water? Getting it? So these are the areas we are going to look. So सबसे पहले we are going to study this topic in two, that is indicators of the global warming and then theories or causes of global warming. And third, impacts of global warming. Indicators of climate change, causes of climate change, and third is the impacts of global warming. Third is you already know sea level is rising, there is a mass extinction is happening, there is change in the albedo of the earth, there is increasing air pollution, etc. So impacts of the global warming, self study ये करना सबसे पहले. So if you look in the last 6-7 years, it is this topic which is being frequently asked. trewartha नहीं पूछ रहे, Koppen नहीं पूछ रहे, Thornwhite नहीं पूछ रहे, they are asking you climate change. It is so deep. I wanted to give you a handout of this, but unfortunately जितने भी मैंने handout net पे देखे वो 256 पेज के नीचे नहीं थे. सबसे कम IPCC का था the indicators of climate change and it was 256 pages. So handout नहीं, I thought कि then I will take 1 hour to teach you this topic. Fine? So what is the definition of the climate change? Optional का definition, which GS का नहीं चाहिए, कि due to anthropogenic emissions the global warming is happening and that is climate change. What is definition? Change in temperature, average temperature of the earth over and at each and every place or only at certain specific places. Pleistocene ice age कहाँ पे था? Only at certain places, each and every place, certain places. So optional का definition is variability in the climate. Variability in the climate. Variations in the climate. Variations in the climate. Over time and space. Over time and space. Leading to turmoil and instability in the weather, leading to turmoil and instability in weather conditions, comma, of different magnitudes, is known as climate change. Climate change. It is a secular change. It is a secular change. Secular change. In the heat balance, what do you mean by secular change? हाँ मतलब over a large area. Secular means over a large area, drastic area. It is a secular change over. It is a secular change leading to change in the heat balance. Change in the heat balance, moisture, etc., due to atmosphere acting as both open and closed system. Open and closed system. Open system, it interacts with the outside. Closed system, it does not interact with the outside. So right now the global warming we are causing is हम नीचे से कर रहे हैं. We are increasing more greenhouse gas emissions which are trapping the radiated heat. So हम कर रहे हैं closed system. But suppose if there is a meteor which comes and hits the earth and uske karan there is a volcanic eruption or there is a change in the variation in the orbit of the earth, then wo ho jayega open system, that is caused because of outside. Understanding? Open and closed system. Open system means there is interaction with the outside environment. Closed system means there is no interaction with the outside environment. So your body is what? Open system. Give me an example of a closed system. What? Why it does not interact with the sun? Earth ko source of energy kya hai? Sun. So earth is an open system. Heart. Heart to open system hai sabse bada. You give your heart to someone or not? So heart system में आता ही नहीं, circulatory system. But yes, circulatory system can be an example of an closed system. It just goes inside. Fine. Blood does not come from out and then goes in our body. Circulatory system, not heart. So next point. As per the theory of uniformitism, who is the person? Uniformitism. As per the theory of uniformitism, क्या हुआ? James Hutton. The world's climate have changed in the past. Have changed in the past, comma, are changing now. Are changing now and will change in the future. Will change in the future. Change in the future. Understanding? So climate changes. आपके ऊपर एक essay था. Climate change is reality. So you will have to start. Geography optional वालों के लिए तो best essay था वो, because you know you can start with this line. Just don't take the name of theory of uniformitism, but you can take as per one of the famous geographer, James Hutton, the climates have changed in the past, are changing now and will change in the future. That is the meaning of this. Example. Major ice ages occurred during Precambrian, Precambrian, 850 to 600 million years before present. You can write directly shortcut, million years before present. Ordovician, Carboniferous, ये कंटिन्यू हुआ था ऑर्डोविशियन का आइस एज इन द कार्बोनिफरस. And Pleistocene. And Pleistocene. 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 Now you thoda insight. No need of Writing this in the exam, thoda insight. Precambrian में Gondwana plate, most of the peninsular India was under the ice age. Fine, south में. Ordovician is not important from our point of view. Carboniferous period में Chota Nagpur plateau, upper parts, Chota Nagpur plateau and this region was under the ice age. So कहाँ पे ice age travel हुआ? Can I say south से north के तरफ? And during the Pleistocene, Kashmir से ऊपर का part was under the ice age. Getting it? So this tells about the cyclical nature. Each and every landform is going to experience the climatic changes, but in a cyclical manner. And therefore, simplicity of the landform is uncommon. Complexity of the landform is more common than simplicity. हमने answer भी लिखा है उसके ऊपर. Geomorphology, the one law of geomorphology. Understanding? Carboniferous period में Chota Nagpur plateau or northern part of India was under ice age. And therefore, we do not find best quality coal in India in the terms of anthracite. Because coal ke liye there has to be high temperature and certain kind of vegetation which is tropical in nature, which should be buried under the water. But India mein there was a cold temperature. And isliye India mein we get the coal is bituminous in nature. Understanding? Why? Because Chota Nagpur plateau, when the coal was being formed in England, Norway, Russia, China, India was under ice age. And therefore, our coal is younger than the world ka coal. And therefore, it is not of the best quality as compared to the world coal. Fine? Next point. This cyclical nature of global environmental changes are divided into short-term changes and long-term changes. And leave some space ahead of the short-term changes and long-term changes. Short-term changes and the long-term changes. Now, what do you mean by short-term changes? Which will be there only for few years to 1,000 years. Understanding? Long-term changes which will be there for million of years. So climate change occurs sometimes for the millions of years, and the climate change occurs sometimes for few years. So anthropogenic climate change किस में आएगा? Short-term changes. Understanding? Short-term changes. The short-term changes involves a scale ranging from few years to thousands of years. Few years to thousands of years. Example, anthropogenic changes. Example, anthropogenic changes. Long-term changes are from thousands to millions of years. Thousands to millions of years. And are always natural. Indicators of climate change. Indicators of climate change. क्या क्या इंडिकेटर्स है क्लाइमेट चेंज के? व्हाट? राइज इन सी लेवल, टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज. दूसरा, was there an animal known as mammoth? Where it is now? Extinct. Why? Because of, have you seen mammoth? हाँ, बड़ा हाथी जिसको लंबा टस था, ऑब्वियसली इन मूवीज, क्योंकि हम आने से पहले ही वो एक्सटिंक्ट हो गया. It got extinct because of the warming. It could remain only in the cold climate. Ice Age movie का जो हाथी है, that is a mammoth. So first indicator is biological indicators, which includes floral, indicators and faunal indicators. जैसे अगर हाथी जैसे एक्सटिंक्ट हो गया, मे बी देर आर सम ट्रीज ऑल्सो विच हैव गॉट एक्सटिंक्ट एंड वी गेट उनका फॉसिल्स, देन वी चेक बाय रेडियो कार्बन डेटिंग कि इट बिलोंग्स टू व्हाट एज. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ रेडियो कार्बन डेटिंग? देर आर टू आइसोटोप्स ऑफ कार्बन इन आवर बॉडी, C14 and C12. C14 has a half life period, C12 तो निकल जाता है, C14 is there. So the age of the C14, कितना C14 बचा है, how much amount of C14 is left in our body, इससे हमें पता लगता है that how much is the age of the fossil. For what do you mean by half life period? I say XYZ medicine, या I say XYZ, चलो we'll take DDT. You know what is DDT? Where it is used? It is a pesticide. You have seen DDT nowadays. The municipal corporation of Delhi will always spray white color ka DDT to kill the mosquitoes. DDT has an half-life period of 12 years. What does it mean? That is, if there is 5 gram DDT in your body, or I'll take 6 gram for ease of calculation. So after 12 years, the amount of DDT in your body will be 3 grams. After 24 years, the amount of DDT in your body will be 1.5 grams. After 36 years, the amount of DDT in your body will be 0.75 grams. This is the meaning of half-life period. Understanding? That is why this non-biodegradable pollutants are so dangerous, कि they are found in our body, वो निकलते ही नहीं body में से. An average Indian has around 7 to 8 kgs of DDT in their body. So much polluted is the air. Kgs. Kgs. DDT has been banned in each and every country in the world except in India, China and some countries of Africa. Otherwise DDT has been banned. It is highly poisonous. It causes decrease in the fertility of each and every animal, including males and females, including humans. DDT is directly proportional to increasing IVF clinics in any country. जितना ज़्यादा DDT use करोगे उतना IVF clinics निकलेंगे, because there is no, the women cannot conceive. Understanding? The egg is destroyed. So why we use DDT then? We use DDT because we are a tropical nation. Tropical nation, you have a choice of using DDT or being killed by dengue and malaria. Slow death versus fast death. Understanding? Dengue, malaria will give you fast death. DDT will give you slow death. There is no other choice. Next indicator is geological indicator. जियोलॉजिकल इंडिकेटर. इसमें देर आर टेरिजीनियस ancient deposits, marine deposits, and pedogenic indicators. Means what are the deposits? We are living here, right? What is the deposit that is found here? What is the deposit that is found here? What is the deposit that is found here? That is what is known as terrigenous ancient deposit. Suppose यहाँ पे एक fossil मिला, it will be faunal or floral indicator depending upon. So you will understand कि उस समय क्या vegetation था, उससे आपको पता लगता है what was the climate of that time. Understanding? You get any kind of a fossil and from that you deduce the climate. Who has seen Harappa and Mohenjo-daro? But we say that region had a very good rainfall. Understanding why? On the basis of lifestyle the people were having, on the basis of the deposits that are found in area. Getting it? Third, this has been your past year question. Cryogenic indicators. This will be in the terms of glacial evidences and periglacial evidences. Glacial and periglacial evidences. Next will be, that is Pleistocene ice age में कहाँ glaciation था etc. Carboniferous में कहाँ glaciation था. You can understand this by the cryogenic indicators. Next will be tectonic indicators. Tectonic indicators means continental drift. By understanding the tectonic indicators, you can understand about the continental drift, or by understanding the continental drift, you can understand about the tectonic indicators. दोनों सही है. Wegener से पूछा गया था, why you gave this theory? Wegener said, my primary aim is not to determine the location or the drifting of the continents. My primary aim is to understand the past climatic changes. We studied that theory in geomorphology, but the major aim of a Wegener was to understand why the climate has changed in the past. I have told you this as a story. Wegener was interested in finding coal. He was not interested in finding, and coal will always come in the tropical rainforest or the tropical vegetation. This is what is the tectonic indicators. Next are geomorphological indicators. It is very different from geological. Geomorphological indicators. Example, any geomorphical, for example, we will find here sand dunes in some region, we may find erratics in some region, we may find the U-shaped valley, hanging valleys in Chota Nagpur Plateau. These all are an example of what? Geomorphological indicator. More than one cycle of erosion. Polycyclic relief. आसान topic है, इतना हमें detail में नहीं पढ़ना है. But you should just know the examples. Geomorphological indicators. And the last is ancient or historical records. And इसमें there will be stories. Rather than stories, migration patterns, etc. Migration patterns, etc. There has been a separate question on this, on the subtopics of this. इसको एज ये इस पे कभी नहीं आएंगे सेपरेट क्वेश्चन. ये पढ़ के जाओ, ये पढ़ के जाओ, ये पढ़ के जाओ. Right? Ancient records में नहीं आएगा. Right? Why we cannot write here stories? Why we are writing mythology? What is the difference between story and a mythology? What? Mythology comes from the word myth. What is the difference between truth, false, and myth? Truth is fact, proven. False is not proven. Myth is truth for some people, it is false for some people. Fine? It cannot be proven. But if it is truth for some people, it is false for some people, it is myth. Mythology. For some people, yes, Ram Mandir hai, the area belongs to Ram. It has been registered in his name. Fine? For some people, Ram never existed. Understanding the myth, mythology? Court case कैसे चल सकता है? Court case can be there only on the basis of property. That property had been registered in the name of Ram Lalla. That is understanding? That is what is the myth. So Ram Lalla is considered, or Rama is considered as a person who has registered the property, and therefore he is fighting for his property. That is the Ram Mandir issue. But Ram ka exile means Ram existed. No? Understanding? So that is why don't write stories here. If you are writing, write mythology, historical records. We are in which world? Truthful world या post-truth world? अभी thought में सब आएगा. What is this world? Post-truth means सच के बाद क्या होता है? That is post-truth world is I will say anything. It is for you to find out whether I am saying the truth or I am saying the false. That is the post-truth world. For me, everything is false. For me, everything is truth. नहीं समझ में आएगा अभी? So, post-truth world, I will tell you when we will do the welfareism in geography. Facts, positivism. positivism. Post-truth world का best example, automotive sector in India is falling down. Automotive sector believes it. Baki ke people are not believing it. In that, even Bajaj wala is not believing. He is saying that is not falling down. That is the post-truth world. So biological indicators. This provides significant evidences. And proxy data. Not exact data, but indirect data. इसलिए हम रहते हैं लिखते हैं proxy data. Proxy data. This provides significant evidences and proxy data. Especially for temperature and moisture conditions. Pressure से तो पता नहीं चलेगा, temperature and moisture conditions. Especially for temperature and moisture conditions. Full stop. Because most of the habitats are determined by temperature and moisture. Temperature and moisture. Next point. Techniques such as carbon dating, oxygen isotope analysis, dendrochronology, pollen analysis, are used. Next, they fall under two broad categories. First, plant or floral indicators. ए लिखो. इसमें fossils of plants. Can I continue? Fossils of plants. Now suppose you are an archaeologist and you go in certain regions in Kerala and you dig up, and niche after certain depth you get large amount of plant species, but वहाँ के leaves are waxy, fossilized plants. But उन fossilized plants में you see कि the leaves of those fossilized plants, leaves का fossils obviously, is having thorns. There were no leaves. The stem system is very hard, very thick. What can you decipher out of that? Xerophytes. So how it is related to climate? Means once upon a time Kerala was a arid region. That is what is known as a fossil analysis. Right? I've just taken an example of Kerala to tell you what is this. So plant physiology. Yes, yes. रशिया की तरफ कोल, रशिया की तरफ मैंग्रोव्स. Plant physiology is an indicator of climatic conditions. Example, existence of coal in northwest Europe and UK. Northwest Europe and UK indicates that this region once experienced hot tropical climate. Hot tropical climate. Hot tropical climate. Second example. Can I say this is a typical example of leaf of any tree in India? Why is the shape of the leaf like this? It is known as tree leaf. Such tree leaves ka shapes indicates a rainy climate. There will be heavy rainfall so that the water can drip away. Water can go away. Fine. On the other hand, take an example of a banana leaf. Tropical evergreen. It has to capture maximum amount of sunlight because it grows throughout the year. And take an example of a Christmas tree ka leaf. It has to protect itself from frostbite, and that is how. And leaf ka fossils hota hai. There is a common practice in India to keep people leaf in the books, and after some years the people leaf will have dots, right? So that is what is an fossil. Common practice in India mein. People ka leaf leke keep it in the book, and then it will get, you can use it for greeting card or anything. So second example, the shape of the leaves, roots indicate the climatic conditions. Example 1, drip leaves. Warm and very moist climate. Waxy leaves, thorns indicate desert type of climate. और ये सब हम fossils की बात कर रहे हैं. Then sclerophyll or sclerophyllous vegetation, fossils. Indicate dry summers. What is sclerophyllous vegetation? Sclerophyllous or sclerophyll is a kind of vegetation that grows in the Mediterranean type forest. कि ये अगर tree है, in the Mediterranean type of climate, we have just seen that it is very hot climate. Why? Because of the dry summer season. Winters may it gets rainfall, but summers are very, very dry. And because the summers are very dry, the winds which are flowing may kill the tree, and therefore to protect the tree from the dry winds, tree has an insulating or protective covering which does not allow the dry winds to go inside. It acts as an insulator. So dry winds do not go inside and they stop the winds from going inside, and this is how the tree survives during the dry summer season. Understanding? ऐसा है कि as if someone has covered this. That is the reason कि wine के bottles को भी cork होता है, so that the air should not pass inside, and it is always made from this tree. Getting it? Cork oak. It is an example. You cannot make it from any tree. It is only in the tree adapted to that type of an climatic conditions. Getting it? And it is never the cost of a wine. It is always the cost of a oak. Wine का cost उतना ही होता है, wine making का. But if you put it cork, from 600 rupees, it will increase to 1200, 1300 rupees. It is the price of the cork, not of the wine inside. Yes, time and obviously time तो fermentation जितना ज़्यादा हो गया उतना, so that is there. Getting it? Sclerophyllous vegetation. Second, pollen analysis. Pollen analysis. See, most of the pollen grains from the land are destroyed, but large amount of pollen grains survive on the bottom of the lakes. Suppose this is the bottom of a lake. Getting it? This is the mud. Pollen grain will survive here, and based on this, यहाँ से, understand this, if I get XYZ tree, यहाँ से if I get ABC tree, यहाँ से if I get some another XYZ tree, or I'll take an example here, यहाँ से if I get the lake say people, if I go below, I get the fossilized pollens of bamboo. And if I go still below, if I get the fossilized pollens of pine. What does it mean? It means if this region was experiencing one of the cold climates. As they started moving from the polar regions to the equator, they came to the equatorial type of climate. And today it is present in the subtropical type of climate. So you can come, this is what is known as pollen analysis. Getting it? Okay. As you go the depth, if the pollen grains change, it indicates that climate has changed. On the other hand, if you get only people in this region, that means the climate has not changed. The present day climate jo hai, that was the same type of climate. This is what is known as an pollen analysis. Understanding this? Why only in the lakes? Because pollens on the land are destroyed due to heat and this thing. But in the lakes, they are preserved. Pollens do not get destroyed in the lakes. Fine? So second point. Pollen analysis involves inference of the climatic conditions, by dating the fossilized pollen grains, preserved in inorganic layer preserved in inorganic layer. Fossilized pollen grains preserved in, उसके बाद inorganic layer, मतलब rocks, mud, etc. That is what is the meaning of inorganic layer. This is known as, this study is known as, the study is known as palynology. The study is known as palynology. Which gives clues, clues for the past climatic conditions, by studying the layered sequence, of deposition of the pollen grains. Tell me, have you understood this line? By studying the layered sequence of deposition of the pollen grains, means in different layers what pollen grains are preserved. Next point. You can draw this diagram first. Getting it? Can I continue? But there are limitations to such studies. But there are limitations. But there are limitations. That is, in case of mixed vegetation, in case of mixed vegetation, it is difficult to separate pollen grains of dominant and co-dominant plant species. हमेशा what type of a climate is there is determined on the basis of dominant species, जिसका maximum aerial coverage है, not on the basis of co-dominant species. Second, winds can carry pollens and deposit them in faraway places. And third, the regions, or the vegetation may have been modified by human actions. By human actions. Human actions. Actions. Example, अगर past human beings ने कोई और ही बाहर से plant लाके plantation शुरू किया, and then we are studying the plantation, that gives us a wrong indication that this was the climate. Understanding? Example, we have brought in so much palm trees from Africa and cultivated along the Himalayas. And suppose if anything happens to Himalayas, and after thousands of years, somebody is doing the pollen analysis in the Himalayas, he will come to a wrong conclusion that Himalayas had equatorial type of climate. Getting it? This is what is a limitation. Third, dendrochronology. Do this very properly even for GS. Can someone tell me what is the dendrochronology? Yes, study of rings in the tree. This is of a tree. If you cut the tree, there will be rings in the tree. That is what is known as dendrochronology. It is the study of annual rings of trees which may help in determining past climatic events, because tree ka life can be 300-400 years, so you can understand the past climatic events, which can help in determining past climatic events. Because, yaad rakhna, I will not dictate, just remember, example, widely spaced, thick growth indicates warm and moist climate. When the trees will properly grow, then the rings inside the tree will be widely spaced. On the other hand, narrow and closely spaced indicates dry climate. Abrupt change of color from light to dark See, this is what is the dendrochronology. There is a change of color also from light to dark. Indicates proper annual growth of the trees. See in this photo, 1950, 1960, 1970, 1980. This is the age of the tree. They will then find out the color, thickness, etc. This is what is the dendrochronology. Next point. With the help of dendrochronology, scientists have been able to analyze the climate of last 5,000 years. Scientists have been able to analyze the climate of past 5,000 years. Trees planted, Columbus lands, Pilgrim's land, declaration of US independence, start of civil war. Tree survives 2 world wars. Man lands on the moon. Birth of a year of an idiot who cut down this tree. This is what is dendrochronology. See, understand, if this is the tree and if this is how the rings are growing, they are not proper, ऐसे किसी ने दबाया है, it indicates advancing glaciation, means ice age is coming. If it is not like this, that means retreating glaciation. Means there are some trees जिसमें ऐसा है and जैसे जैसे नए rings are coming, they are becoming more and more straight. Means in this time there was an glaciation. यहाँ पे there is an warm climate. That is the next point. Dendrochronology also helps in Dendrochronology also helps in reconstructing the advances ब्रैकेट में लिखना asymmetrical rings, bracket asymmetrical ring, and bracket close, retreat symmetrical rings of glaciers. The topic which we are doing will come as indicators of past climate or even as paleoclimates. That is the old climates kaisa tha, and indicators of paleoclimates. The topic which we are doing is paleoclimatology. Faunal indicators. So what are the floral indicators? Fossils, pollen analysis, and dendrochronology. Faunal indicators. With the help of radiocarbon dating and isotope analysis, radiocarbon dating, with the help of radiocarbon dating and isotope analysis, the age of the fossils, comma, sedimentary layer, and therefore the resulting climate can be found. And therefore the resulting climate can be found. Resulting climate can be found. What do you mean by लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं isotope analysis? Just try to understand. There are 3 isotopes, oxygen का isotopes in our body: O17, O18, O16. Fine. When we die, this oxygen का isotopes will be released by our body. But depending upon hot climatic conditions, O18 पहले निकलेगा. Fine. Cold climatic conditions, O16 पहले निकलेगा. O16s will be first given out. And thus, while doing the radiocarbon dating, they find out कि which oxygen isotope is present in the bones or the fossils of the animal. If there is no O18, that means it was a warm climate. If there is no O16, it means there was a cold climate. Fine. But faunal indicators are this much only. What is the important here is floral indicators. So floral indicators, biological indicators, the question will be mostly on the floral indicators. Fine. Geographical indicators or geological indicators. थोड़ा difficult है ये. What do you mean by geological indicators? The kind of the minerals that are present in the rocks will be geological indicators. Fine. Includes the study of lacustrine deposits, is varves, evaporites, limestones, coal seams, etc. L varves, VARVES. etc. What are evaporites? What are evaporites? We have done evaporites. Evaporites are pseudo-volcanic features, that is salt crystals which grow on rocks. Rocks के अंदर का salt बाहर आ जाएगा. The salt crystals which will come out. This is an evaporites. Why? Because of evaporation. So if there is a large amount of evaporites which are found on the rocks, इसका मतलब what kind of climate it was there? Hot climate. Therefore evaporation. पानी तो water gets evaporated. Salt, saline water comes from the desert. Water gets evaporated. What remains back as salt, and then it gets crystallized. And these are what are known as evaporites. When they go straight, we have studied, it is similar to the sill and dikes, pseudo-volcanic features. So evaporites are salt deposits which indicates high temperature, comma aridity and evaporation exceeding precipitation. They are commonly found in South USA, Central Asia, North Europe, which indicates such region was having high temperatures. Such region was having high temperature. North of Europe, Scandinavia. Have you seen such kind of a soil? Very common. India में it is very common. But अगर ये soil मिलता है in France, अगर ये soil मिलता है in Alaska, अगर ये soil मिलता है in Norway, what does it indicate? Now, what is this soil? This soil is nothing but laterite soil. When the laterite soil becomes very, very hard, it is known as duri crust, in which, what is the laterite soil? Laterite soil is a soil in which there is only iron and aluminum. Baki ka things have been washed away due to very, very heavy rainfall and very high temperature. And then iron becomes very hard. And when the iron becomes very hard, we'll call this as a duri crust. If it is found in Andaman Nicobar, we can understand. If it is found in the Western Ghats, we can understand. But if it is found in Finland, Norway, it indicates कि आज जो polar climate है, once upon a time they were in the tropics, which indicates nothing but continental drift. Fine. So इसमें के evidences जो मैं दे रहा हूँ, you can correlate that with the continental drift and enrich your answers in geomorphology. Fine. Dury crust etc. Getting it? So evaporites के बाद Dury crusts. These are hardened surfaces of laterites. Formed due to leaching in hot and humid climatic conditions. Hot and humid climates. The presence of such Dury crusts, in higher latitudes, indicates that past climate was different. Third, limestones. कहाँ पे है karst topography? Which region? Don't write anything. Where is the karst topography? Region of limestones. Why it is known as karst topography? Because it was first discovered in Yugoslavia. Now, how is the limestone formed? सबसे पहले, limestone will always form when there is excessive rainfall and hot climatic conditions. Getting it? Limestone deposits. Because in the regions of hot climatic conditions, carbon dioxide will react with rain to form an acid, and it will erode the limestone, carry it away and deposit it at some other place. But आज मिलता है near the Adriatic Sea, जहाँ पे आज Rome है, Greece है, that is the cold climate. Again an example कि it was once near the tropics, and due to the collision of Indian plate with the Eurasian plate or due to continental drift, all the continents are now started moving towards the poles. And if you remember, we have seen the animation, in the end all the continents will go towards the North Pole. Pehle they were near the South Pole. Fine. So limestone. The regions of karst topography of Europe. The regions of karst topography of Europe. Which today has cold conditions. Indicates that once it was having tropical climate. Cryogenic indicators. What do you mean by cryogenic indicators? The study of ice caps glaciers and evidences of glaciation. And the evidences of glaciation. Glaciations. Lewis Agassiz identified and recognized the concept of ice ages. उससे पहले हमें पता ही नहीं था ice ages के बारे में. Ice ages. Give an idea of continental drift as well as past climates. Example, most of Gondwana was under ice age during Carboniferous. During the Carboniferous. Second, there were four major ice ages. There were four glacial periods. There were four glacial periods of Gunz, Mendel, Riss, and we have written this, Vroom. Gunz, Mendel, Riss, and Vroom in Europe. In Europe, followed by or separated by warm interglacial periods. Warm interglacial periods. Remember how it is studied. Cryogenic indicators, how they are studied? By analyzing ice sheets and ice cores. By analyzing ice sheets and ice cores, CORES cores. By analyzing ice sheets and ice core. So by analyzing the ice sheet first, jitna greater the thickness of the ice sheet, you can dig it deeper and you can understand, because how is the ice sheet formed? Huge amount of snowfall, it is compressed, it becomes very hard and it becomes a glacier. अब ग्रीनलैंड विनलैंड में 6-6 किलोमीटर थिकनेस का आइस है, which indicates some is present but जो bottom पे है it is very old. So that is what is, you can go inside. What do you mean by ice core? Look at the photo here properly. When you dig deep inside the ice sheet, you sometimes find a huge amount of ice at the bottom. That is what is known as an ice core. And in that ice core, अब फोटो में properly दिखेगा नहीं वो. See, this is how digging is done. Fine, and this entire ice core is being removed by the digging. In that ice core, air bubble is trapped. Air is trapped in the form of bubbles. And उस air में what isotope is there, what bacteria is there, what fossils are there, they are studied. And वहाँ से हमें पता लगता है what kind of climatic conditions are there. For example, if this was the region which was tropical, so that bacteria, that vegetation was there, अब वो ice sheet के नीचे चला गया, trap हो गया, so you will dig a hole inside this and you will analyze this, and उससे will come to the ice core का analysis. Fine? So ice sheets, the accumulated snow is studied sometimes the ice caps are drilled to obtain the ice cores for analysis, which gives us following information. You can just write the information in the bracket. Which gives us the following information. कैसे पता लगता है हमें कि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड ही डोमिनेट था, हाइड्रोजन था? You go deep and then you study the air that has been trapped inside the ice core, and it gives us an idea of atmospheric composition. Clear? Cryogenic indicators. 3 more indicators. I know the topic is boring. Tectonic indicators. We have studied this already in geomorphology. Impact of Pleistocene ice age glaciation, how the कॉन्टिनेंट्स एक्सेट्रा मूड, सो ये करने की ज़रूरत नहीं, ये वैसे आएगा भी नहीं. टेक्टोनिक इंडिकेटर्स ऑफ द क्लाइमेट चेंज कि हाउ द गोंडवाना लैंड वाज वंस ग्लेशिएटेड, देन कैसे ट्रॉपिकल रीजन्स में आया, देन हाउ इट इज प्रेजेंट इन द सब ट्रॉपिकल रीजन. सो वेगनर के कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट थियरी के जो जो पॉजिटिव पॉइंट्स है, दैट इज द टेक्टोनिक इंडिकेटर्स. इट विल नेवर कम ऑल्सो. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? How do we have done this in, if you don't even remember, we have done this very properly. The Laurasia 1, Laurentia 2, the Angara land 1, Gondwana 1, Pangea 1, Pangea 2, this is all tectonic indicators. 5 Pangea जो हमने किए थे. Geomorphological indicators. What is the difference between geological indicators and geomorphological indicators? Is structure and process is geomorphology. मतलब the shape of the landforms tells the evidences of the past climate. Duricrust, कैसा rock है, what are the minerals in the rocks? Geological. But if imagine hanging valley is found in the Chota Nagpur plateau, that is geomorphological indicators. If erratics are found or tors are found in some regions, that is a geomorphological indicator. So geomorphological indicator, this is important. Every climate produces its own characteristics. ये law ही है हमारा. We can start our answer directly from there. Every climate produces its own characteristic assemblage या patterns या features, कुछ भी लिखो, assemblage on the landforms, and therefore complexity of the landforms is more common than simplicity. Complexity of the landforms is more common than simplicity. Second point, thus the landforms are the reflection of climate. The landforms are the reflection of climate. And the study of the landforms gives an idea of past as well as the present climate. Third point, इंसेलबर्ग्स. कहाँ पे होते हैं इंसेलबर्ग्स? पिंक. Are steep sided residual hills that are commonly found in hot, arid or semi-arid climates. Hot, arid or semi-arid climates. What is the end stage of king? Inselberg. पर किसने सबसे पहले वर्ड यूज किया इंसेलबर्ग? पेंक ने. इज जर्मनी हॉट, एरिड एंड सेमी एरिड? नो. बट पेंक को वहां पे इंसेलबर्ग दिखे. इसका मतलब क्या है? जर्मनी वॉज वंस hot and arid. Such Inselbergs in Germany, England, shows that the climate was once extremely arid. Second, the presence of glacial till erratics in peninsular India, especially in the coal seams, coal blocks of Gondwana Plateau, comma Talcher, shows that Talcher, I'll write. What is Talcher? Where is Talcher? Orissa. Talcher, Rashtriya Chemical and Fertilizers, shows that this region of India was under the influence of glaciation. Shows that this region of India was under the influence of glaciation. I have told you already उनको erratics क्यों कहते हैं, and they are deposited in any shape. The small rock is holding the hard rock. This is another erratics. This is the third erratics. In fact, one of the famous erratic is in India is floating rock, which is a site of geological importance in Meghalaya. Floating rock of Meghalaya. You should know this floating rock of Meghalaya. Yes. This is what is known as a floating rock of Meghalaya. दूर से देखेगा तो ऐसा लगता है the rock is hanging in the air. This is also an example of erratics. So Meghalaya was also under the glaciation. Third, similarly the presence of marine deposits in northwest India. Indicates that today's desert region was under the sea. sea level fluctuations. What does it indicate? Alternate change in climate as well as tectonic movements. Tectonic movements. Next point, the large scale changes in the sea level. The large scale changes in the sea level are always climatologically induced. Are always climatologically induced. And such changes are known as eustatic changes. That is why I did not do eustatic changes in the oceanography. Understood? Are known as eustatic changes. I have written the spelling here, eustatic changes. Eustatic changes are caused due to ice age followed by warm periods. Are caused due to ice age followed by warm periods. During the ice age, the sea level falls. During the ice age, the sea level falls. But after the end of ice age, as the ice melts, the sea level again rises. The rise and the fall of sea level, which has been recorded, the rise and the fall of the sea level, which has been recorded up to 1,50,000 years before the present, up to 1,50,000 years before the present. Indicates that climate change is natural, and hence every warm period is followed by, every cool period is followed by warm interglacial period. We can draw this diagram. डेढ़ लाख साल पहले this was the sea level. Some 1,25,000 years before, the sea level increased. Again it decreased. Again it increased. Again it decreased. Again it increased. Again it decreased. And after the end of Pleistocene ice age, it has increased and it is constantly rising. So this is the present sea level. See, if you see 25,000 years before, when the Pleistocene Ice Age began, sea level was 120 meters below the present. इसलिए तो river rejuvenation and etc. हुआ था. Can you link that topics? अब a good student will be, if a question comes on the polycyclic relief, ये भी diagram वो उधर डाल देगा and बताएगा कि what are the reasons for the polycyclic relief. Fine? या river rejuvenation. This is what is known as interlinking the syllabus. नहीं, टेक्टोनिक भी है ना. यूस्टैटिक नहीं है. यूस्टैटिक मीन्स लार्ज स्केल. दो टाइप के, टेक्टोनिक, यूस्टैटिक. यूस्टैटिक मीन्स लार्ज स्केल, टेक्टोनिक मीन्स लोकल. लोकल कैन बी ड्यू टू इमरजेंस, सबमर्जेंस. लोकल इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बट यूस्टैटिक sea level changes are of two type. Tectonic, जिसको हम कहते हैं relative change, sea level change. Local. Eustatic, large scale, and that is due to climate. जरूरी नहीं कि ये लिखना चाहिए. Fine. And the last, historical records. Historical records. Examples such as mass migration. Examples such as mass migration from Central Asia of Mongols. Central Asia, Mongols. You Mongols, why did they migrate? Why they start capturing? Extreme climate था वहाँ पे. There was sudden climate change, drought आ गया, and they had horses. So in the search of grasslands, they could capture. So जब they started capturing, they saw that they can easily get wealth because उनके पास speed थी due to horses. So they started capturing Europe. Europe से they came to India and became Mughals. Fine. Or floods in the Nile Valley. Floods in the Nile Valley. Floods in Nile Valley. पूरा हाँ, इसके तो न्यूमरस है पर मैं इसमें जा नहीं रहा हूँ. एक ही सेंटेंस में आपको दे रहा हूँ. आर evidences of climate change. Are evidences of climate change. See, theories of climate change and urban climate मैं कल करूँगा. अब climatology बंद करता हूँ. I'll take for last half an hour tomorrow. That is the theories of the climate change. I'll start with thought. Can you sit for 1 more hour? If you want break, you can take the break. कुछ खा भी के. I'll leave then we'll start at 6 o'clock.